So there are two keywords here. There's the term memory. There's actually three things: memory, location, and data. So to explain what memory is just what you know as RAM, ROM, that is what type of hard drive you use. If you're using a hard drive, a hard disk, it holds memory or it holds data. But memory is actually something temporary. You can delete it anytime. It's actually more versatile than what can you say, using a hard disk. Or so in Python, we have what you call a memory. It's called a memory. We have memory blocks. They're called memory blocks. They're usually something like you can see it as a table. Like it has many access points. Each point in this table holds a different holds some space. It depends. Mostly it's usually 1 byte. So let's say you want to store something, it will come here, store, let's say you want to store the number 4 in the first location, then you want to store 5 in the second location, whatever. So but behind it will be stored in binary. That is, for example, 4 will be 0 1 0 0, and then 5 will be 0 1 0 1, 6 would be 0 1 1 0, all the way, just like that. Then what a variable does, it holds a pointer to that location. Let's say this location, we call it usually location A. They're usually not stored as location A. It's actually a hexadecimal, but for purpose of illustration, we'll use simple alphabets. So let me add 6 here. So the last one, 6, will be stored at location C. Now, when you create a variable in Python, it usually uses the syntax variable name, variable name, then an equal sign, then its value. Now take an example. We say let's say cut. Let's say cut equals to a string called let's say cut is called Garfield, for example. Now you have the data here is Garfield stored in a variable called cut. Now cut will be stored, or how it works is cut will point to a memory, to a location in your memory block that stores the word cut. Let's say this one stored the word Garfield as a string. Garfield. Now this part, cut, actually stores a memory, the memory location that points to the value, that has the value Garfield. Let's call this location what? Location B. Now your compiler, that is the Python compiler, will look for what does cut hold. Cut holds the memory location D, and what is in memory block D? The word Garfield. So and then you can actually print out. If you say print cut, it's actually supposed to give you Garfield as a string, like so. You say a variable is called cut equals to Garfield. Then if you say print cut, it's supposed to give us Garfield. Let's see, we go open your terminal, you can say Python 3 and then say the file name, yeah, /variable .py prints Garfield. Now I've explained what a variable is and how it works. Now, if anyone has a question, feel free to unmute your mic and then just ask, because I'm not looking at the Google Meet screen. I'm on my VS Code right now. Now, another thing I'm supposed to add is variable naming rules in Python. Variable naming rules in Python. Yeah, I've also explained how to use a variable. How to use it: you say the variable name here, variable name, and then the value. Now let's go to the rules. Variable naming rules. Variable naming rules in Python. Yeah, first and foremost, rule number 1, your variable name should start with a letter followed by a symbol, but not followed by an underscore. Optional, by the way, underscore, which is optional. And then, or also, it can be followed by a number. For example, you can say cat, so it's a good variable name. You can say dog name. You can say cat height. You can say cat1. You can say dog 4. But you can also start with an underscore. Another option, you can also start, or you can start with an underscore followed by a letter, or another underscore. Another underscore. So you can also say underscore cat name, underscore cat, underscore dog, anything, underscore dog, underscore what, underscore name. All these are valid names. Now, invalid names are like this. Let's say invalid variable names. Now, you can't start with a number like 5 dog or 5 dog. This is wrong. You cannot start with a symbol minus cat. This is also wrong. Cannot start, maybe you want to say star. Maybe people, if you know C, it's normal to use a star before a variable name, but in Python it's not allowed. So you can't say dog. Cannot start with a dog, and also like that. But on top of the rules, there are usually what we call best practices. So let's best practices. Now, what I mean by best practices is it's just a convention that helps you and other developers understand your code easily. For example, rule number, it's actually better if you use a single name. Never use a single name for a variable. A single name for variable. Rule number 2, use underscores. Use underscores between names. I'll explain that. And I think the last one, names must be descriptive. Name must be descriptive. I'll explain all this after. Now, you can go by these three rules. So, for example, rule number 1, never use a single name for variable. Here, this is wrong, because I said Garfield is the name of a cat, and here I'm saying cat is Garfield. This is wrong. You are supposed to say cat underscore name Garfield, so that you can also say cat underscore height, underscore weight. You can say this cat weighs what? Let's say 2 kgs. Maybe it's a very small cat. But you're not supposed to say cat or just the word cat equals to something. This is wrong or conventionally wrong, but okay, syntax wise it will work. But if someone else comes to read your code, he might not understand what cat refers to. But if he reads and says cat underscore name, or the name of a cat underscore weight, the weight of a cat, you said 2. So if you said weight, he expects a number here or a float. I'll explain data types later. Yeah, and also names must be descriptive. So here I've said cat name. You understand it's a name, it's the name of a cat. So you expect this value to be a string. If you say cat weight, it is self-descriptive. You understand the weight of a cat. You're referencing the weight of a cat. But if you use something like cat, this is not descriptive. Okay, you understand it's an animal, but it doesn't really give the context of why you're using that variable as you're using it. Also, another bad practice, but we still use it in for loops, is outside a for loop, you're not supposed to use it this way. Like you say x equals to 10. This is not the right way to use it. But in a for loop, let's say in a for loop, you can use x equals to 10 because it's a temporary variable. It's just the normal way programmers usually do it. Yeah, I guess that's it. Those are just the simple rules. Let's move on to the next topic, variable naming rules. We go to the types of variables in Python. Now, as you understand, as we've already looked at, a variable is a memory holding some data. You can see variable, you can just shorten this all to say you just point to some data. Now, when I say types of variables, they're actually 2. In programming, they're actually 2, but in Python, it's only 1. Now, you might have maybe heard of, there's what you call a variable, and there's what we call, looking for my hand here, and there's what we call a constant. Now, a variable can change. A variable, the value stored by a variable can change. The value can change. But for a constant, the value cannot change. Let me explain. For example, in a for loop, you usually say for I equals to 10, for I equals to 10, or for I equals to 0, I plus plus, I less than whatever. I'm just referencing C less than 20, whatever, you say I plus plus plus. Now, in this statement, it means you're starting with the initial value of 0 and then incrementing all the way to 20. Someone else will explain for loops, not today though. The value of I will change, so I is just a variable. That is an example of how we use variables. Another place to explain constants are usually you've set a value that does not change. For example, in a real world scenario, the value of pi never changes. It's usually 3.142, some values there, but normally in four figures it's usually 3.142. So in the morning, in the evening, the value of pi will never change. So you usually store it in a constant. Meaning you won't need to change it, or there'll never be a scenario where you change the value of pi. However, in Python, we don't have constants, but we have conventions that refer to it as a constant. Variable names, they usually start with a convention that is, I was supposed to add this here. They should start with the small caps. Should be small case. Do we say small case or lowercase? Sorry. Lowercase letters should be lowercase. Letters should be lowercase. Yeah. That should be in lowercase. But for constants, usually, I should say this for should add these variables. But for constants, letters should be in uppercase. This is for constants, if you are referring to constants. But take note, Python does not support constants. So here I will say pi in capital equals 3.142. So someone reading this code will come here to line 15, see pi is in capital letters. If he or she is a Python developer or knows Python, understands that the developer who wrote this code means this value should never change, or never should it be altered. So the value of pi will always remain pi. Will always remain 3.142 or any other value. Yeah. So, is there any questions so far before I move on to data types? Is there anyone who's lost, maybe has a question? Okay. Now, data types. We go to data types in Python. So I'll just list them all and then show you how we use them. So one of the common ones, we have what we call strings. We have characters. We have what else? We have numbers. Integers. Then we have floats. Then there's another complex one called a dictionary. Before a dictionary, you have an array. These are the simpler ones. After array, we have something like a dictionary. dictionary denoted by dict. I'll explain that later. Anyone else who knows another data type, type it in the chat. We've said there's strings, characters, integers, floats, arrays, dictionaries. Yeah, there is what we call sets. Then we have tuples or tuples. Is there anything I'm forgetting? Sets. Oh, there's also booleans. Booleans are actually among the simpler data types. Booleans, they should be there. Sorry, boolean. Then I forgot the list. Actually, the lists. Yeah. Doubles, yeah, right. What else? What else am I forgetting? Boniface asks, are lists not arrays in Python? They're actually the same. By the way, they're actually the same. Did I say arrays? They're actually the same, but actually slash arrays are actually the same thing. Thank you for that correction, Boniface. Yeah, so we'll start with the simple strings. Strings in Python. So what's a string? A string is just a sequence of characters. String means sequence of characters. Now it introduces another data type, characters. Characters are just single letters, like you can say A, B, anything that is enclosed with some quotation. Usually the convention is you enclose a string with double quotes. For example, a string can be a name, but also a sequence of characters. Let's say A, B, C, D, E. This is a string, but a character is the single A, the single B, the C, the D, and the E. Now, another convention for strings, usually enclose them with double quotations. The double quotation, but for characters, usually use single quotes. Hope you understand. Yeah, I should actually add it here. Use single quotes characters, or we call them chars, and then use double quotations for strings. Yeah, let's try out an example. An example of a string. We have this cat name. This is a string. I'm gonna print it. And actually, in Python, if you want to know the type of a data type, you usually use the inbuilt function called what is it? Type. Sorry. Type takes a parameter. You can say cat name, cat underscore name. Okay, let me edit. Let's say type. Sorry, just add something small. Type of
I have a question.
okay.
In the data types, I see you have characters and strings. Are those two separate data types? Or?
The two separate. Separate.
I don't know. I don't think that's true.
As I said, a string is a sequence of characters, while a character is a single letter. For example, A, B, C, D.
But like, I could have a string which is a single character. So does that make a string a character?
How will I answer that? Now, yeah, it will be treated as a string, yeah, but with one character. Because, as you understand, you can have a sequence of only one item. You can have a set of only one thing. You can only have a name of only one character. But anyway, let me hear your thoughts. There. Okay, let's investigate that. Konini. Let's say simple string equals to put the letter A. Let's see if there's something like that. Okay, first of all, let me print this. You see how to use the type function. So Python 3 variable not type, cannot concatenate type of string. Supposed to use what you call an F string. No. I'll explain this later. Type of character is an str. An str means a string. Okay, we are now to investigate what a simple str is. Let's see. Type of simple underscore str. Okay, it has been taken as a string, so you don't have characters in Python. Sorry, that is usually in C. Yeah, we've investigated and found I was wrong. Yeah, let's move on to the next. The next thing on the list, let's say integers. Do you say integers or numbers? Integers. So we have, let's say, number of attendees. Mko wangapi? I'll assume mko 30. So you can print type of number of attendees. Will it say a string? Will it say an integer, or will it say a number? Let's see. An integer, right? So you all know integers are all whole numbers, including what? Negatives. You can also say negative 30. Think it will still be. Okay, Collins says, can you try testing simple str with single quotes instead of double single? Yeah, can do that here. Simple str. Hapa ndo tutaangalia. Yeah, it's still a string. Hope I've answered you, Collins. Yeah, as you've seen, yeah, negative 30 is an integer, right? Next one, a float. I've not explained here. Integer. These are whole numbers, including negatives and 0. Actually, the best thing here, these are positive, negative numbers and 0. Confirm that here. 0 be an integer. Let's see. Yeah, 0 is also an integer. Next, floats. A float. Float is a, what is it? Is a number that has a decimal place or floating point precision. A number that has a decimal place. I think there's a better description for it. Decimal number. How will you call it? How will you call a decimal number? But in real sense, just mean numbers like 2.025 pi, which is 3.142, and the rest. So, float. Example of float. We used pi here, yeah? So, we're going to get the type of pi. Type of pi. So, type of pi, a float. What else? Arrays and lists. Majority hapa. Lists. So, a list. A list is actually a sequence of values separated by a comma or a string. I'll explain why I'm saying a string. Oh no, a better word, or you can say an iterable. A list, a sequence of values or data objects separated by a comma. Let's say we have a list. Let's say attendance list. Attendance underscore list. You can have symbols. I've seen Collins. I've also seen I've seen Gibson. I've seen Moruri. Just send it out. Gibson. Now this is a list. If you want to print the type of it, type attendance list. Supposed to print a list. Sorry. Yeah, type of attendance list, a list. Oh, and also another thing, lists are usually enclosed inside square brackets. That is this. These are the square brackets we mean. Another property of list, they're usually what we call mutable. Mutable meaning can be changed, and the elements within it, inside it, can also be changed. So it can be changed. So when you say a list can be changed, it means the elements in the list can be changed. Another thing, usually elements are indexed. Yeah, they're usually indexed from 0 to n minus 1, where n is the size of the list. For example, we can have a list called, let's call 22 my list equals square brackets, take this Sundus, Collins, and the rest, and Gibson. Now, when I say elements are indexed, meaning if you want to retrieve an element from a list, you have to start from 0. Let's say Sundus will take index 0, will point to index 0. Who else? Collins will point to index 1, and Gibson will point to index 2. Index 2. Now they are indexed. So for example, in this list, if I want to print out Sundus, I'll have to get the element at index 0. That you do that by saying print and then attendance list, then a square bracket, then you say 0, the index of that element, as you can see here, and that code gets Sundus. So if you want Collins, just do the same. Clear and 5.3. Yeah, see, types Collins. If you want to type Gibson, index 2, you get Gibson here, as you can see. So I said elements are indexed from 0 to n minus 1, where n is the size of the list. Now our list has a size of 3. It has 3 elements, in other words. So the last index, that is n minus 1, is index 2, because 3 minus 1 equals to 2, and we started with 0. So 0, 1, 2, like that. They are mutable, can be changed. So let's say we want to remove the word Gibson and add something and put another name there. You say attendance list. We want to change the last value, that is 0. Want it to point to let me pick out someone's name for list. Morori. Now you can print that list and you'll see print. Let me add this print just to show you before mutation or before the change, before mutation, then after mutation. So we haven't printed, sorry. So print attendance list, the last next 0. Yeah. The printing index 0, sorry. Print the last element because you want to see it change from Gibson to Morori. Yeah, you see Gibson, Morori, but you can also print the whole list just to show you. Yeah, before mutation you had Sandus, Collins and Gibson. After you had Sandus, Collins and Morori. And then another attribute about list is that they can hold different lists, can contain different types of different data types, can contain different data types. For example, we call it mixed list. Can have the format opening brackets. You see the first thing is here a string that is Morori, just the name. Then we can hold an integer 25. You can also add you can hold 3.142. Yeah, so maybe let's get also methods. Check it out. How to list, how to get the language, the rest. Now I'll move on to the next data type, Boolean. Booleans are actually quite simple. Booleans. Yes, they just put values. Either true, false. For example, you can have simple, not real naming convention for this convention. Usually start with is, then something. Is then name, is then condition. For example, is press present equals to true.
Okay, Simon, you can't hear you clearly. You're distant.
Right now,
Yes, you're
what
okay
about
now.
now?
Yeah, you're okay.
So I was saying a boolean can neither be hold a true or false. In Python, the T in true is capital, the F in false it's also capital. So we say is present. It's true. You can say what is awake. Can be false. Sorry, false. So you can print the data types. Press that word. Type of is awake. Is awake. What else is present? Is present. I'll repeat it again. If you have a question, don't hesitate. Type it in the chat. A member of my team will tell me. If you can also unmute your mic and I'll listen. And yeah, so let's print those. Is awake, the type of is awake and is present. Now you see, type of is awake, bool, that's a boolean in Python, and also boolean. Now move on to the next. Dictionaries. Now dictionaries are quite a bit complex, but they're so easy. Dictionaries, they hold key value pairs. Hold key value pairs. And also another thing, dictionaries are enclosed inside square curly brackets, inside curly brackets, these ones. So syntax, just let me explain a bit of the syntax. So it says syntax, usually say you start with the curly brackets and then you hold a key, full colon, and then a value, this way. Now I'll define my dictionary. I must use something descriptive like a phone book. Let's say phone book. An example of where I use dictionaries is in phone books. So in your phone you may save watu na jina yao. So let's say you have a friend called Bestie. You save this or a number with let's say 07 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. There's another person, let's say principal. Namba yake pia 07894561 hope sitasema jina ya mtu, namba ya mtu, but anyway, yeah, so this is actually the syntax, but it's not a must they be strings. You can say they're actually variables, but you have to specify the type. So you can say that's phone book. You can also say, someone give me an example of where we use a dictionary. Write it down in the chat. Where else will you use a dictionary? Okay, I'll just move on. So yeah, you can say print the type of, just confirm, print type of phone book. Type of phone book. Dict meaning dictionary, holds a key value. Also the value can be a number, let's say total contacts. This can be 2, just have 2. Sorry, they're also separated by commas. And to, let's say you want to get a value from the phone book, you say phone book dot, usually several methods, dot get, then you specify the key. Let's say you want to get principal. Okay, you can print this. So print it prints 0789 612 semi 89 612 and various methods. You can actually, I think you can also, it's actually mutable. Let's say you want to change the contact of your friend. You want to say, you go and say phone book, and then you specify also colon, then you say bestie equals, say string, 0114, just a random number. Okay, print phone book dot get what bestie. Print it there and you'll see you get 01142, meaning the number has changed from 012 to 0114. Yeah, and next, sets. Sets are similar to list, but sets actually hold unique values. They don't hold duplicates, in other words, similar to lists, but don't hold duplicates. For example, you can have my set equals to, let's say, sorry. And then another thing, sets are enclosed in curly brackets. Sorry, for example, you say you have a set of friends with names. Say, let's say you have a friend called John. You have another called Jane. You have another called Joe. Just an example. Now, if you print type of my underscore set at this format, type my set. So just confirm type of my set, and then okay. Okay, I was to explain does not hold duplicates. Let's duplicate a number, a value here. Control Z, Control C, Control V. Now, if we print this set, we don't expect 2 doors because a set does not hold duplicate value. So let's print my set. Let's see, will it work? Ama niko jaba. As you see, it's printed John, Jane, Do, 1 Do, and a John. Also, let's confirm to duplicate Jane and John. 200. Yeah, see, it says Do, Jane, and John. Does not hold duplicates. What's the other one? Tuples. Now, tuples are also similar to lists, but are not mutable. Or you can just say they are mutable lists. Meaning you can't change them. But the difference is you enclosed by, what do you call this? Brackets. Or don't know what. Normal brackets. For example, you say my tuple, or you say tuple, however you pronounce it. What will it hold? Let's say it holds numbers. No, sorry, we'll use strings. So it holds table, laptop, print type of my underscore tuple. We're almost done. Bear with me. My tuple. Just confirm. Yeah, type of my tuple. Now, I've said they're not mutable. Let's try and mutate. I say my tuple. Now, since they're also the same as list, you can reference any value. Each value is indexed. So my tuple, let's say the first one, change to desk. First of all, let's print before, then we print after. So to print this, print my tuple. Print my tuple, then we change. Now, what are we doing here? So we want to print my tuple before we do the change. Then we print what we get after. Print my tuple again. My tuple or tuple, I've never known. Yeah, as you can see, tuple object does not support item assignment. Okay. Tuple object does not support changing the value. It's mutable. It will raise an error when you try to change it. The next thing, doubles. Actually, Python does not have doubles, but they're usually represented as floats with big values. Doubles in programming means it's a floating point number, but a big number. Let's say a billion point something, or 1.3142 to the 17th decimal place. Yeah, anyone has a question? Does anyone has a question? I think. Okay, Engineer Timothy.
Could you share the notes text file and if possible the py file for today's class?
Yeah, I'll send the file to on Discord. I'll share it on Discord.
We share your Discord. The Discord. I might think I joined. Okay, so I think that's where we came from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does anyone else have a question? Okay. I'll hand it over to Madam Lillian. She'll tell us what to expect next week and who will be presenting. Yeah, and before that, I'll have to I thank you all for attending. I also thank you for taking your time to listen. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Simon, for the great presentation and the like demonstration. So for the next meetup we're going to get into lists, and I've shared the book that we are using on WhatsApp. So in the book there are some activities that it usually tells you to do after you complete the contents. So something you can do is once you complete this, whatever we've discussed is in chapter 2. This is data types and simple data types. So it's in chapter 2. So when you go through the book, it also adds the aspect of methods, the ones that Simon was showing us, the dot format and everything. So there are other methods discussed. So you can check out the book. And when you reach to the point of activities, you can do some of them and then you can share. And I'm sending a link to okay. So I'm sending a link to the attendance for today. So we are gathering that so that you can see the active people who have been attending and everything. You can get maybe some goodies, even sats. So you can be on the lookout for that. So you can keep coming to the sessions. If you have any questions, you can also ask. If you have a project you're doing for Python, you can also give us information so that you can assist. Yeah, that's it. So for tomorrow, you can check out for next week, you can check out chapter 3. So when you come to the meeting, what you are doing is you're coming to the meeting already having gone through the chapter and done some of the exercises, and then now we come to clear what was stated in the book. Yeah, that's it on my end. Thank you all for joining.